Welcome to another installment of interviewing industry influencers in the home gym community. I want to take a moment to welcome my guest who really needs no introduction. Adam is the founder of GarageGymLab, which has a pretty popular YouTube channel, and he's been around in the home gym community for a number of years. So I want to take the time to thank you for joining us because I know you have a very busy schedule and you're literally in the midst of moving to your new space. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marcus. I'm excited to be here and to chat with you.
So first thing I want to do is let's start with the basics: age, social security, date of birth, that kind of thing. Just kidding. Age if you want, but really the length of training, how long you've been training, the style of training, and any kind of PRs that you have currently.
Yeah, I'm 36 years old. I've been training since a very early age. I was very active in school, just playing sports. And then my dad got me involved in strength training when I was 14, woke me up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym with him. And that created and started a lifelong love for fitness. And I did that with him in the mornings before school, all through high school. And I've sort of kept that morning routine and my training up to this point. And I've done sort of all sorts of training along the way, but most recently, powerlifting has been my focus. Not so much in the competitive sense anymore, but still sort of catered and centered around the squat, bench, and deadlift. Now it's a little bit more general focus for me. Not necessarily looking to get out there and compete or even go for big numbers anymore, but certainly love the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And that's what my training is more or less centered around still today.
22 years then, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is your father still around?
He is, yeah. He's still hitting the gym in the mornings. And yeah, I think that will prove to be very beneficial for his long-term health, considering he's been doing it for so long.
You started the GarageGymLab channel around 2017. And I know you shared a little bit about your departure from the global gym back then, but maybe you can share a little bit more with us as to the motivation behind that and starting your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I was working in corporate America and was working very long hours doing corporate commercial real estate for about 12 years, working 80 to 100 hours a week, and was really just kind of getting burned out. And I was driving a long way to get to the gym and early in the morning, actually having to pay 2 gym memberships so I could access a shower and then going straight to work, getting back, late at night and starting all over at 4 a.m. the next day. So I realized that I needed to do something a little bit different. My wife and I were starting to try to have a family. So in 2016, I started a little home gym just with the basics, a rack, a bench, some plates, and a bar from Rogue. And that started, my love for the home gym community. I had already had a big passion for equipment, just going to some of the gyms that I belonged to, dating back to college, all of which had some really amazing pieces. And I figured, why not start a little something on the side in the form of a blog at the time? Presented that to my wife as she was going into labor 6 weeks early with our son. And she was not too keen on the idea, considering how much I was already working. Got her on board over the next few months, kind of taught myself a little bit about creating a website and started, as you said, GarageGymLab in 2017 and have been doing it ever since now.
Last month, I did an interview with your pal Joe Gray, who came up with the idea for the Garage Gym Competition that peeked a little bit behind the scenes of his genius idea. And he alluded to the fact that he relied on you and some others as his consortium of gurus to bounce ideas off of. What do you remember about that? And did you imagine that it would take off the way that it did?
I'm really happy for Joe. I think the Garage Gym Competition is really cool, and it's really the first of its kind, and it has really gained in momentum and has a huge participation effort from a lot of people around the world. So to see it continue to grow to the point now where thousands of people are participating, he's got multiple thousands of dollars worth of prizes up for grabs for a lot of people. And I'm really proud of Joe and really excited that it's come this far. And I can't wait to see where he takes it from here.
Yeah, agreed. Very impressed with the whole thing, the way he runs it. And I'm glad that he finally transitioned to the full-time aspect of keeping that, baby going for him. Do you submit any lifts for yourself?
I didn't. I've been, my training for the last, call it month and a half, has been very haphazard, is one way to put it. Unfortunately, caught COVID. Then we went out of town for a week and a half with the family. And for the last week and a half or so, I've been really full blown into the new space and trying to get everything in order some equipment moved over, as you saw today, and working on some of the behind the scenes efforts and just everything that goes along with getting a new space ready.
Seen you working really, really hard on Instagram, moving equipment. Seems like you're doing it all by yourself, a one-man show. But it's impressive that you've got things going with that. And speaking of consortiums, you recently announced your own consortium of gurus, like my favorite Dr. Aaron Horschik, in the fitness field to help with bringing in some well thought out and balanced content and ideas to your channel. And it looks like a dream team of sorts. So how excited are you by that lineup and future content that you intend to leverage this group for?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. All the people that are on the board are super bright, really experts in their respective fields within the strength and conditioning community. So to have their insights and to be able to lean on them for their knowledge is going to be really helpful. And I can't wait to get to work with them a little bit more. David Ote, who's a high-level trainer and advisor for Men's Health, is actually going to be contributing quite a lot to the website in terms of writing starting next week. Really excited to get him on the webpage. Yeah, I'm just very excited about everybody that's gotten involved.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic, and I look forward to seeing what other content you put out with that group. So a few years ago, you moved back to your home state of South Carolina, and you created a new home gym where you introduced us to that beautiful blue, white, and green theme of your gym. And now you're up in the game once again, and you have a new studio gym space that you literally began to move stuff into today. So is it a commercial space? And what are your plans for the space with respect to the home gym community and your channel?
Yeah, so it is technically a commercial space, but they are essentially, as they market themselves, luxury garage suites. So I can still keep the garage gym theme, but most people keep high-end cars there. So I'll definitely be the only one that's got a gym, but it will essentially become my full-time office, a YouTube studio, and just a place for me to not only train, but also to have more space for more equipment to do reviews and other home gym content. So I'll keep my home gym and I'll essentially have two. That way I can, sort of expand my physical footprint and hopefully deliver some great content going forward.
So what equipment do you have in mind for that space, and how will that differ from your home gym?
Yeah, so it'll be, along the lines of the same sort of equipment. I am still going to be based around, strength and conditioning. I am going to be bringing over some more bodybuilding type stuff. So I have a functional trainer from Prime Fitness coming, their new dumbbell rack, which is amazing. And then I'm actually going to get into a little bit more conditioning equipment in the new space, just because I have a little bit more room to allocate to that. So think rowers, bikes, maybe a curb tread, things like that. So I'm excited to kind of participate a little bit more in the cardio realm, because that's not been really a focus of mine in the past. But certainly a lot of people are still interested in it. So I figured it'd be a good opportunity for me to create some content on it.
Yeah, from your Instagram feed, I saw you had what looked like almost 10 different types of bikes in a lineup getting ready to be put onto the truck.
Yeah, I got a lot of bikes that I'm doing some content on now, and I won't keep them all in that space. Probably let my father-in-law have one for his space, and put a few more in some of my friends' gyms. But otherwise, I'll keep one or two at the gym, and keep cycling through at that point.
But with respect to your YouTube channel, you put out content pretty consistently, although not that frequently. Will that change now that you have the new studio space set up? And do you intend to put out content a little more frequently?
It will absolutely change. So that's going to be a focus of mine in the rest of 2022 and going forward. And, really the reason why I haven't produced too much video content up to this point is I was supposed to move into my new space in mid-February, and it's been, I guess, 14 weeks of delays at this point, finally in there. But in that time, my garage has been overwhelmed with equipment to the point where even to set up equipment to video has been very challenging. So I've just sort of put my focus elsewhere on content creation on the website and things like that. But now that I've got the space open back up, video will be a very prevalent source of content for me on a weekly basis is my goal.
So you and your channel are well known, but I'm surprised your channel doesn't have a larger following than it does, and that's not a knock. By contrast, your Instagram has like 126,000 followers compared to, 13.5 on YouTube. I suspect that will change now with the new studio in space, but is that primarily because you've been doing some work in the background or more work in the background than you do with the content that you were creating for the channel?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's been, like you said, the frequency of my YouTube channel hasn't been where I want it to be. I started my YouTube channel back in 2018. At that time, I was working, again, 80 to 100 hours a week, and I realized that I really needed to focus just on one medium of content, that I was spreading myself way too thin. So I didn't create another video for 2 years just so I could focus on building the Instagram, building the website, and came on to YouTube pretty hot and heavy over COVID, but then the new space issues happened and sort of got put on the back burner again. So up to this point, it's been a little up and down in terms of frequency of content, but yeah, as we mentioned earlier, that'll definitely change going forward, and hopefully viewership and subscriptions and things like that will rise in tandem.
I have no doubt. One of the questions I don't have here that you just kind of reminded me of, tell me about how COVID changed things for you personally with the channel, the home gym community. I know things were really kind of in limbo, but also at the same time blowing up. And for some individuals like Brandon, things just kind of skyrocketed for him in terms of subscribers as everyone was kind of in this feeding frenzy, looking for information to set up their home gyms during the lockdown, like myself. So how was that for you personally?
Yeah, it was in a weird way. COVID was great for me and my business. As you mentioned, home gyms exploded during that time, and being that I started in 2017, I had the luxury of having a little bit of a following up to that point. But certainly, the explosion in interest in home gym equipment out of necessity really catapulted the business and really led me to go full time on what I do. So in August of 2020, went full time on GarageGymLab, in large part due to COVID. I look at COVID as sort of a great reset for myself and for a lot of people. I think has just made them sort of think about things a lot differently in life, and it certainly made me think about my career and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I figured if there was ever a time to go full time on what I was doing, it was certainly then. So made that jump and haven't looked back since.
You kind of had the foresight to create a home gym space, kind of like Brandon and some other individuals, back before it was as popular as it is now, and out of necessity. The commute was killing you, you work a lot of hours. Did you ever imagine on such a large scale that others would follow suit? None of us could imagine, this pandemic kind of necessitating that. But did you ever imagine this home gym community growing the way it has?
I didn't, not to this level. I felt that there was a lot of passion in the home gym community. Just getting in when I did and chatting with people that were involved in the home gyms. There's this visceral passion for building home gyms, making it your own, etc. I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I just didn't see it growing maybe to this level at the velocity that it did. And again, COVID had a big role in that, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be fleeing back to the Globo gyms. I think that some of those that have invested in their home gyms during COVID, who were previously commercial gym users, are inclined to stay because now they see they can stay fit and active and build something really special, also get their kids involved and things like that. So it's I guess it's not too surprising, but I wasn't sure. I didn't see it necessarily back in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was an interest in home gym equipment prior to that. The pandemic certainly created a need that motivated people to actually make it more of a serious effort on their part to get things going. But I'd never imagined this. I mean, a lot of us might have had cheap equipment from Marcy and some other companies that is nothing like what a lot of us use today. But it was always there, whether it was Bowflex, Soloflex, or something. There was always these spurts in popularity, right, with new equipment being released, Peloton and what have you. I just never imagined this myself, and I think it's pretty cool how large the community has grown and how involved everyone is with this and sharing of information and creating ideas and so on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's been a paradigm shift, and I think it's going to be an industry that continues to grow as more and more people are made aware of home gyms, and as you said, companies continue to put out amazing equipment. It'll only continue to draw interest and hopefully grow the community even further.
So toward the end of last year, you announced a personal project. And of course, I'm talking about the preacher pad that you collaborated with AdMat. I'm sure you are incredibly proud of that and how well it's done. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm psyched for you personally. But tell us a little bit more about where that came from.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it all started with my kids' furniture. So they've got this configurable couch called a nugget couch, and there's this triangular piece. And I was in the process of reviewing the surplus strength pulley system, rack mounted pulley system, and was just trying to come up with something kind of clever to use to show how you can use the low pulley in different ways. And it was one of those like light bulb moments. I'd never thought of it before. It just sort of clicked in my head. So I ran upstairs and grabbed it, brought it down, and realized that it was actually kind of cool. But the nugget couch in and of itself was not the proper product. It had a felt sort of cover and really soft foam. So the next day I reached out to AbMat. I knew they had done a lot with collaborators, and that's sort of their bread and butter, which is a vinyl wrapped foam. So for the next 4 months, we've iterated on some prototypes and landed on what you see today, launched it in August. And yeah, it's been an awesome project. Very, very proud of it. And it's been really well received in the home gym community, where large preacher curl benches just don't really make sense for a lot of people. So to have it in a space-friendly form has been really fun for a lot of users, and myself included.
I see it's pretty popular. I even saw a review on Men's Health Magazine on their website as well. So I think it's a very cool idea that has a definite place in the home gym. I think it's such a simple yet smart idea. Like, why didn't anybody else think of that sooner?
Well, I appreciate it. And yeah, it's, it is one of those things where you look at fitness industry, and to find an idea that is novel is really hard. So when I was researching about this concept right after I kind of played with my kids' furniture, I was like you said, I was shocked that it didn't exist, which was, exciting and cool. But it's very hard to find a unique idea in this space up to this, at this point.
Absolutely. And I've been thinking about a few things myself, and I've just recently seen a few renditions of it kind of come to life by a few different companies. And that's like leg roller, leg extension, leg curl piece for these racks. So I'm glad to see a few companies are finally producing that, making it work, and coming up with different variations of it for us. I like those ideas, and I think we'll probably see a lot more of that from the home gym community as we keep investing in what we do and looking for ideas and ways to actually make things work better for us.
I'm with you. I'm excited to see some of these attachments come out. And I think that that's been one of the coolest things that we've seen in the home gym space over the last few years is this concept of modularity and this new adaptation, and a lot of new products coming out for rack attachments that can really take your training to the next level. Where in 2017, at least when I started, you just had the basics, your J-cups, your safeties, and things like that. Now you got all sorts of fancy gadgets and gizmos that you can really deck your rack out into some pretty awesome stuff.
Agreed. I also think it's pretty cool that you have managed to have some sort of endorsement deal with Texas Power Bars for their bars. And I think that's pretty cool. It's literally one of the few commercials I will actually let play out when it comes up on one of the videos, because it's nice to support someone I know, someone in the home gym community. And tell us a little bit about how that kind of came about.
Yeah, thank you. Texas Power Bars has obviously been around for a long time. They make great products in their quest to increase their brand awareness and exposure via social, etc. They reached out and asked if I would like to participate in some ad work, and their agency flew down to my space. We had a great day of filming and using the bar. It's on Facebook and things now, and people can see it. But yeah, that was certainly a fun little project that I was able to work on with them. And they make, like I said, they make a great bar. I'm a big fan of Texas Power Bars in general. They've come a long way too. At one point, basically, they were just bare steel. So they've sort of evolved over the years in some of their offerings, Cerakote and things like that. So it's great to see. I think the market has certainly responded well.
The need, the supply and demand, especially with the proliferation of home gyms, is certainly there, where they now have a new market that they can sell to and cater to and find out what they need. And it's just kind of a give and take, a nice coexistence, if you will. And I think it's nice for us home gym users that we have such a large variety of different equipment manufacturers to choose from. And I think that's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides the YouTube channel, you also have the very cool website that I think may have come first, but correct me if I'm wrong there. You help out the home gym community with reviews, advice, and inspiration. Site is pretty well organized, a lot of different information, discount codes even on equipment and so on. Do you plan to continue developing the site along or in conjunction with the YouTube channel?
Yes, absolutely. And to your point, the website was definitely first by probably close to a year before I started the YouTube channel. And the website will always be sort of not only there, but probably the number one source of content for me. It's certainly a passion of mine is writing and creating that sort of content, and then getting collaborators like David Ote and things to expand it even further is certainly exciting. And will take a little bit of pressure off me, quite honestly, so I can still produce website content, not necessarily by me, but by a team of great, insightful industry leaders, which will give me a little bit more time to focus on the video side. Yeah, the website will be there for forever, hopefully.
So in an effort to keep this short, I want to give you an opportunity at this point. If you have any parting words, any information you can share about the channel, the website, or the new studio space that can hold us over until you actually open the doors and reveal GarageGymLab 2.0.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun. I know we've been trying to get together here for the last few weeks, so it's great to finally be able to connect. I'm excited about the future of GarageGymLab. So for any of your listeners out there who are looking to get more advice or insights on home gyms or how to create them, or specific questions about equipment, you can find me basically anywhere at GarageGymLab, GarageGymLab.com, GarageGymLab, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Like you, always happy to help people, and certainly look forward to it.
Yeah, agreed. So one last thing, you have family. I know you have, what, is it 2 children?
Yep, 2 kids, 4.5 and 2.5. And then my kids love it. They get out there and they're picking up the slam balls and medicine balls, walking all around. So I'm very excited to get them involved. A large part of me loving the home gym is doing that.
I think it's very cool. As you know personally, having that influence from a parent who's interested in the physical fitness realm, it's a nice segue for them, something that'll really pay off for them in terms of their future health. I think that's one of the probably the best benefits that we'll all see as a home gym community, to have this kind of roll over into our children and see how that just kind of takes off. And as a whole, globally, we'll all be fitter people, hopefully, in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Certainly my favorite part of having one.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, so we'll conclude here. I definitely appreciate your time. As I said, I know that you've been incredibly busy, and I know, like you also alluded to, the fact that we've kind of bounced around trying to nail down a date and time for this. So I really appreciate you taking the time, especially with you trying to get things moved into that space. Hopefully it was a nice break from the physical labor. I really appreciate it, and perhaps we can revisit with another interview once you got the new space open and see how things are going from there.
Yeah, I would really enjoy that, Marcus. And thanks again for having me on. And I'll certainly look forward to chatting again. And together we can continue to push the home gym and all the good that comes with it.
Definitely. Good luck with everything in the space.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, Adam.
Take care.